I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you. So tell me, do you feel the way that I feel? Then tell me, would you give what I'm willing to give? And I believe in honesty, and I believe it's true, and I believe if you set it free, it will come back to you. And I believe that things were meant to really be, and I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.
Hello there, and welcome to Cancer Kickers, and having some technical difficulties. Skype is kind of acting up there. Can you hear me, James?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you hear the ringing, the Skype phone ringing in the background?
No. And your caller's about, I'm going to add your guest to the line right now, okay?
Okay.
And caller, you're on with Cynthia now.
Hello.
Hey there, Reverend Lynn. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here with you.
So I think it's me. I'm having a little technical difficulty with my Skype, and I don't know
Uh-oh.
what's that?
I said, uh-oh.
It sounds like you sound fine, Cynthia, from this end.
Really? You can't hear that ringing in the background?
No, I'll ask the people in the chat room who are listening to the show on the air and see if they can hear it. But you go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything except your lovely voice. So let's just do some energy work and clear up all of that stuff that you're hearing on your end.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. What it is, this happened last week as well when James called me on Skype and I hit answer. It comes up like, so I'm on Skype with James, but the Skype phone is still ringing. So if it doesn't drive me absolutely crazy.
Yes, well, that's how technology is. Sometimes when it works, it's fantastic. And when it doesn't, well, it just doesn't.
Okay, so I'm going to mute myself up, ladies, and nobody else hears the ringing, so you're just fine and you sound fine to me. So have a great show. I'll be here to answer the phones or deal with any technical difficulties in the background, all right?
All right,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, I think, James, I think this may start driving me crazy. We'll see how long I can last. And what I can do is just call in on my line. It's a 323 number.
Okay, if that happens, I'll be here.
Okay, super. Thank you, James.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
So
I was just going to tease you and say, okay, so is this a case of ringing in the ears, time marching on, body changes, or is this just technology?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, you may be getting some feedback based on volume also.
No, it's not. No, it's not that. I don't know what sound your computer or anyone else's computer makes when someone's trying to call you on Skype. Mine is this pretty little tone that I used to like. It's do-do-do. Well, it's just like it just keeps ringing.
Oh, okay.
So you know what I'm going to do?
All right.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to welcome everyone to the show. And what I'm going to do, James, is I'm just going to talk for a bit and then have Reverend Lynn talk for a little bit about, to introduce and everything that she does. And then I'm going to call you on my hard line, James, just because I'm too distracted And,
yes.
But anyway, just for all of the listeners, I'm glad you guys can't hear this, but I don't feel like my concentration would feel 100% there, and it wouldn't be fair to all the listeners. But what I do want to say is for everyone who's listening, this time slot used to be I Cure Cancer with Ian Jacqueline, and then I started co-hosting pretty quickly after that. And Ian's just really, really busy and doing wonderful things, and with his projects, he needed more time. And I'd been working on my show, Cancer Kickers, for quite some time. And so it just all lined up brilliantly. It's not going to be too much different from I Cure Cancer, just some different guests, a little bit of a different format, et cetera, et cetera. Still always, the topic is on healing and information and self-healing. And so I want to introduce first I want to just wish a happy Mother's Day to everyone out there, all the mothers. And I want to dedicate the show to all the mothers. And what I really wanted to do was have a guest who was a healer and a mother, which that's what we have, Reverend Lynn. She's a mother of two. And she's a very, very, very important person in my life. As I posted when I was going through cancer and trying to cure myself, she was like my rock. She really was. And she was crucial in helping me deal with fear. Every time pretty much the fear crept up, I would call her or I would be there, and she would disperse that energy and talk to me, and fear would be gone. And that's one of the main points that she's brilliant at that. She's a brilliant energy worker. She is Miss Bean. She's Miss Wonderful. She's everything. So I just wondered if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, Reverend Lynn, and the services that you provide while I'm going to try to call in to James here.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for that great introduction. And, one of the secrets to actually being a healer is the ability to simply assist the person to heal themselves. So as much as I would love to take credit for your wonderful and truly phenomenal healing aspects that happened during the time that you did have cancer, it was really all about you healing yourself. I just basically assisted and guided you and where you needed to go, maybe what you needed to do so that you could do that kind of work for yourself. But I have been, I've known you, Cynthia, now for about 20 years. My goodness, long time.
Pretty close to that, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time because I believe my oldest daughter was a year old, if she was that old, when we first connected. And, it's just been a wonderful journey. I did found, however you want to say it, Center of Light Miracles, and have been assisting people as well as myself. Of course, it's been my own path and my own journey, and helping others along their paths and journey toward really empowering themselves, connecting with the essence of who they are as spirit, and being able to experience the power that is spirit, the power that really is you and that is who you are in every aspect of your life, and not getting caught up in or starting to believe in a lot of the illusions and so many of the other things that we do tend to get caught up in this world that we live in. And even as I was just thinking about, and saying the word illusions, immediately what comes to mind being an LA Hollywood kind of girl, hey, with all of the, as they like to call it, La La Land kind of stuff. We are in this world that is filled with marketing, filled with advertising, filled with sales, filled with so much in the way that keeps us really consciously in a loop of illusion. We are now operating on a planetary level of the illusion that everything happens instantaneously. And not that some things don't happen instantaneously, but for the most part, when you really want to move into a place of shifting out of what is illusion and what is not real, such as when Cynthia was first diagnosed with cancer and She was told that she had to have all these different procedures, otherwise she wouldn't make it, and so forth. That's the illusion, because the reality is doing what she chose to do by shifting her energy, by changing her lifestyle. That is part of what really allowed her to overcome the limitations that cancer can present on a physical level. And so it's really important for us to move into a place of understanding that as you connect with the deepest aspect of you and the spirit you, then you are able to move closer to a level of reality. And as I like to say, the spirit, it's not only that all things are possible, but all things are absolutely probable. It is probable to happen. It is probable that your will and your desire brings it into the experience into this world. And that's the difference between something that may be an illusion versus something that is absolutely real, because it comes from you. So in any event, when we're talking about healing ourselves, we're talking about an aspect of energy in such a way that allows us to move things into a wonderful, shall we say, matrix or pattern that creates the kinds of healing and scenarios that we truly desire. And that's part of what healing is about. It's being able to shift and move energy, and we know everything is energy, in such a way that it comes together and it begins to form a new pattern, a new grid, a new matrix, if you will, that creates cancer being cured, HIV no longer being present, diabetes being, gone, the bones, if you have osteoporosis, being regenerated, all of these sorts of things. So it really does become a very dynamic way of shifting your consciousness. And when I talk about consciousness, I mean thinking. What's in your heart, matching what's in your head, coming together, will open a whole new world of vista to shift energy and create new patterns, new matrices, new dynamics, so that a complete and total healing, whatever it is that you are going after, is there, can be fully present. All right. So I don't know if Cynthia, have you had a chance to call back in? Are you with us again? All right. So I think she's still trying to maybe figure that out and make that happen. One of the things that I also wanted to share that is part of what I consider the healing is the concept of miracles and I don't want to use the word creation of miracles, but in a way it is a way of shifting and changing energy, bringing things together in such a way that it appears to be miraculous or a miracle. By definition, I say that miracles are energies and experiences that present themselves that completely change your life for the better from the moment they happen and moving forward. So in the case with Cynthia, she was able to heal herself and miraculously, if you will, cure herself of cancer, something that the doctors didn't expect, something she knew would happen. She had the certainty. She made the decision about it. She went about doing what she needed to do to shift the energy, to shift her consciousness, to connect with her spirit in all those ways to bring about that miracle, but nonetheless what would be considered a miracle. And so part of what I do is I help people to connect with, first of all, what their passion is, what their desire is, then to open their heart to knowing that that passion or desire is probable, because if you have it in your heart, if it is a passion, that means that it is what you are to do. It means it's what you will be successful at. It's what your journey is toward your own best and highest good. Therefore, the success of it is probable because it's what you're here to do in the first place. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that passion. It wouldn't live in your heart. I'm sure not everybody listening right now has the passion to drive race cars. What's in your heart may not necessarily be to build tall buildings or to be a veterinarian or anything of that nature. You may have a different passion and desire. So whatever your passion and desire is and what lays in your heart, this is what part of your journey is about. This is what you can be successful at, and like I said, it's probable. And so what I do is I help you to not only connect with that and identify that, but then I also assist in your moving into a place where energetically you can begin to resonate at the vibration of your particular passion. And when you do, then all sorts of things can happen. All sorts of miracles can happen. Now, I like the process of assisting people through transformation. And as Cynthia mentioned in that beautiful introduction, I like to assist people in the transformation from fear, which is, as some of you may know, false evidence appearing real, into love. Fear is simply the absence of love, unconditional, divine love, that is completely open and completely energetically part of the fabric of everything that exists within our world and beyond. So,
hello.
Hi. I'm sitting here talking and rambling. There you are. I was just talking about miracles and transformation, and you appear.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I like my timing.
Your timing's perfect.
Yeah, I was trying to call in, and James, I guess, had rented the bathroom, so it would just keep ringing and ringing, and nobody was picking up.
Darn. See, that's what happens when the bladder calls. You answer, and then
exactly
get left hanging, you know?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness! Well,
so everybody, I'm so sorry about this technical thing again with the Skype. I'm not quite sure what it is, but for some reason my Skype wasn't quite working, so I've called in now. And is everybody? You all can hear me? Okay, is that right?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. And actually, it sounds you're clearer and a little more crisp, because before it was a little choppy. Not much, but just a little bit. So this is much clearer.
Oh, good. So maybe perhaps we're going to deliver a clear message today.
Well, maybe so. maybe that's what's in the atmosphere for today.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry I interrupted. If you want to continue with whatever you were talking about and finish that thought.
Well, I was talking about, fear being the absence of love, love being unconditional divine love, and in the process of creating miracles, important to make that kind of transformation. And I was just sharing how through my process, it's partly from clearing any illusionary beliefs and that sort of thing, and also then embracing all of the probabilities, the things that you, in essence, can do, are able to do, by being at a good vibrational match with your passion and your desire. And that is always a successful path to follow. So in that way, we call that miracles or miraculous. At least that's what I call it. And that's what I help people do. Okay, so now I'm done, Cynthia. I just wrapped it up in a nutshell.
Well, I'll do this again towards the end of the show, but I don't know if you gave them your website information and all of that yet.
No, I did not.
Would you love to?
Sure, that would be handy. The website is centeroflightmiracles.org, O-R-G, centeroflightmiracles.org, and I do have a 30-day Creating Miracle plan that is absolutely complimentary, free, that anyone can do. As soon as you go on the website, at the top of the home page is a banner that will say Create Miracles in 30 Days for free. Click on that, and you can begin the 30-day Creating Miracle Plan. It's part of some steps that you can do as a way to allow those miracles to happen.
You know what? I tell you what, I'm going to start that today. I've been meaning to, and I've been wanting another process, a 30-day process. I was going to do it before when you were on the show, actually back in the fall, and when Ian and I were doing the show, but I was in the middle of another 30-day process. So I was like, well, I'll do that next. And then what happened next was Christmas and all of that mania. It's so funny because I want to put Ian, actually, I have to remind him because Ian started that and he started having crazy miracles. And I was there witnessing them actually, mostly around the financial aspect, but also around career. Like all of a sudden out of nowhere, somebody asked him to be in a movie. A pretty successful one, and this happened, and then his script started for his hemp boxer, and he just happened to bump into producers who happened to just love the idea, and it wasn't just chit-chat. They jumped on board. I mean, so... And it's and I think I think he stopped doing it over the holidays again, and things weren't going as strongly. So I'm going to talk to him about that. I'm going to keep reporting here. I think this would be great fun, and I want to give a shout out to Vincent Easley because he's one of the other producers there, and I was on his show this past Thursday because it was his year anniversary. For his show is on Thursdays at 5 o'clock our time. That's so like what, greedy, selfish of me? Our time, like California time. Yeah, Cynthia
time. Yes.
I know, a little Miss Self-Centered here. It's Cynthia time. But
it's the Hollywood thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is. But today is an interesting anniversary for me as well because it's been a year now. May 10th has been a year since I've been in my new apartment here in Hollywood. I was living somewhere else. Yeah, can you believe it? It's already been a year.
No, I can't. Oh my gosh. Talk about things going by lickety-split, like in the blink of an eye. Go ahead.
Well, it's just interesting, like the alignment of it, because, you know, this is one of the first shows of Cancer Kickers. It's my year anniversary. It was, you know, Vincent's year anniversary, and I was on the show. I stayed on the show with him. I also want to give a big shout out to the gentleman who has the show right after his, Jose, who jumped in as well. And Jose is a wonderful, wonderful man, and he was giving me a really hard time because he was trying to Facebook friends with me, and, you know, I was at my 5,000 limit and all of that stuff, and so he was teasing me really hard and said there was a 3-year waiting list for, you know, to become a friend. So, yeah, and speaking of technology, too, we were just joking around about, you know, another one of our guests at that time, you know, about trying to keep up with technology. And I said the only way you can keep up with technology is to grab a 5-year-old and say, how do I work my iPhone? You know what I mean? Because they know.
I'm telling you, it's true. They do know. That's the reason why I got an iPhone, because my daughter has one, and I knew that I'd never figure it out. So I got one like hers so that she could just do everything that needed to be done with it.
Can I borrow her for a week?
Yes, you can. And I just got a tablet, and so, you know, I'm still trying to figure out how to work it. And of course, both of my girls have taken the tablet and they're doing everything with it. And I'm like, wait a minute, how did you do that? What do you do? Oh, Mom, don't worry about it. Why do you get this stuff? You don't know what to do with it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm like, I'm trying to keep up. Listen, I'm not that old. I'm still trying to keep up.
I am too. Well, what's funny is I used to rely on one of my friends, and she's pretty techno, but she's 30 now. She turned 30. So she's like, don't ask me anymore. Grab a teenager.
Really? Because technology changes so fast. Now she's getting old.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing.
Yes. It
What's
is.
so interesting because...
borrow my daughter.
What's that?
I said, you can definitely borrow my daughter.
I would love that.
Yes.
Well, how old is she now? Because she might be too old for, if she's like, is she 16 now?
She's 17. The youngest one is 17.
Ah, gee.
She just turned 17. Yeah, I know. She's getting to be an old lady. And the oldest one's 21. So, yeah, they're getting up there.
I cannot believe that. Well, it's so funny because when we were talking while I was, you know, in the midst of these technical problems, when I had cancer, I was, to answer your question, you know, you were pregnant with Noelle.
Was I? Oh, okay. With Leo, the oldest one.
No, Noelle. Noelle's your younger one, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You were pregnant with the Noelle, your younger one.
Oh, I was. Oh, okay.
Because I recall that, and what I did, everyone who's listening, you know, I put together quite a protocol for myself, mind, body, and spirit. But also, I was going over to Reverend Lynn's center, and that's where I was learning to become an Essene healer and a hands-on healer and whatnot, and energy work. And she had Reverend Lynn had students always hanging around there. It was awesome, and I'd go every chance I get. Sometimes I was there every day getting healings from all of them. And I just got a flash, Reverend Lynn. I remember because the process went on for 8 months. It took me 8 months to cure myself, and you were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I remember one time, it was getting tougher and tougher. And I remember I just have this vision of you with this beautiful baby bump, but by then it was a big baby bump, and you swaddling around.
Yes, when I couldn't tie my shoes. Yes. Okay. See, I didn't remember all that. I didn't remember my being pregnant. I was just so into the work, you know, and what you needed. I didn't even remember I was pregnant.
And there's a technique where you lay on the ground and all of them put their hands on you and all of this technique and putting light into the body that they're working on. So I was on the ground, so Reverend Lynn had to squat down, you know what I'm saying, and try to get her hands on me. And, you know, humor is a great part of healing, so watching her try to get up really helped with the humor.
I'm like, did I get up? That's the question.
You did.
Did I actually get up? Yeah, because I was pretty big.
It was, you were so cute, you know, speaking of mothers, you know what I'm saying? They're all so cute with their baby bumps, but watching them waddle is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it's so interesting. It's interesting because I sort of assumed that Noelle was also one of the healers because, you know, she was in there working on me as well. I've always felt that, in bathing in pure positive energy. And so I've always felt just a very special connection to her because all of that was going on at that time. And, and also, speaking of mothers, I just want to put in here, Reverend Lynn, so amazing. Speaking of mothers and how incredible they are, when Reverend Lynn, and I don't know if you remember this, but when Reverend Lynn was in the hospital giving birth to Noelle, I didn't know it. Reverend Lynn was in labor, and I was like, you know, I was already healed of cancer, but still the mind had, you know, needed time to catch up. And so I was called Reverend Lynn, and I was crying about some boyfriend and blah, blah, blah. And Reverend Lynn's like, well, that's okay, Cynthia. And, well, this is what you're going through. She was calm as a cucumber. Like 15 minutes into the conversation, come to find out, she's in labor right now.
Yeah, I was in labor, and I was in the hospital, in the birthing room. And what I remember is something that the doctor said, okay, now you're going to have to hang up because I need you to push. And I'm like, oh,
exactly.
Listen, let me call you back after I push this baby out. I'll call you right back. And sure enough, about 10 minutes after we hung up, you know, the baby was born.
It's hysterical. Yeah, you know, Cynthia, I gotta go. I gotta push this baby out of me now. I'll call you back, honey.
Yes.
That's how amazing Reverend Lynn is, you guys. Now,
yes,
do you teach any birthing techniques or whatnot? Because you were so calm as a cucumber and everything. Do you teach birthing techniques as well, or classes like that?
You know what? I don't teach birthing classes, but I do have a meditation I actually created for a couple of ladies who were terrified of going into labor. And so I created this brief meditation for them to listen to before labor starts, and just so their consciousness can move into a place of peace with it. And then it can also be listened to while in labor, because it really describes what you need to do, how to breathe, you know, that whole thing. So I've done something like that to help a couple of my students who were giving birth that were just, one of them was really terrified because she thought that she would die in childbirth, and it was from a past life memory.
Interesting.
So,
I thought you were going to say she was afraid her vagina was going to blow up.
No firecrackers put up there like that.
That's one way to get the baby out.
Yeah. But we're hoping to get the baby out in one whole piece, you know.
Well, that's preferred. I understand.
That might be preferable, but, you know, any way that it can come out, let's go for it. So she had fear around that. So I did create, like I said, that meditation, for childbirth. But really, you know, the biggest thing that I, attribute all of that to is the fact that before I had Noelle, I had already at that point been meditating for like 13 years every day for an hour to 2 hours a day. During the pregnancy, I loved being pregnant. Oh my God, it was so much fun.
Really?
And I felt great. I loved being pregnant with both my girls. And
wow.
So when it came time for her birth, I just, you know, I breathed. Of course, I did the Lamaze method, so I knew how to breathe that way. And I just say it's really about focusing on one thing. It's about doing the meditation techniques, breathing, and staying focused. And when you do that and you let your body relax, I know there can be a lot of discomfort. I'm not going to say there's not. But when you relax and you really focus on relaxing the muscles and giving breath and air to that part of your body, and just being in a place of loving the child and loving the process, you really don't, at least I didn't experience any labor pain. I think the only labor pains I ever had was with my oldest daughter. She was born 2 months early, and that's pretty much because, you know, the bag broke. My mucus plug came out, and 3 days later my bag broke. And so she was being born breech. I had one hard labor pain, and then after that, I didn't feel labor at all. I was just exhausted. I was, you know, wanted to sleep. I wanted to use the bathroom, but the doctor said, nope, because your child's feet and her legs are already touching the top part of your thighs. This baby's breech, the cords around her neck, we have to do a C-section. So they're like, don't push. So, so my oldest one was born by C-section, but again, one hard labor pain, and I was like already at 8-9 centimeters, and 10 centimeters is you're completely open.
Right.
So, and then with the youngest one, I didn't have any labor pains at all, and I had her vaginally.
Well, it's so interesting. I remember when I was curing myself of cancer, again, also what I did was I created like, I didn't have the financial abundance to like go to a healing center. So I kind of created my own in the sense that I very much withdrew from the outside world, and through Reverend Lynn's classes, you really learn you can take all these different classes and they're fabulous, and one of them that you learn about how programmed you are by the television, the billboards, everywhere you know, the radio, it's always in your face, and I had already learned that from Reverend Lynn. So what I did was I created my own environment, meaning, you know, I was only listening to positive reinforcement. I did not know of Abraham at that time, but I listened to Tony Robbins and Reverend Lynn's tapes and Deepak Chopra.
excuse me, and I would have the cassette tapes. This is the good old days, the cassette tapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're dating yourself, Cynthia.
Yes, embarrassingly so. I'll call myself on that one, big time. At least, but they weren't 8 tracks, so.
That's true. I remember those 8 tracks.
So, yeah, I know. So, I would just listen to them if I had to be driving. I would listen to those, and whatnot. And Deepak Chopra, he made a really interesting point. He was talking about pain, and he was making the comparison, and which is leading me to my next question to you, because about pain, and it's really so much about point of view and fear. He was saying, because he said compare, someone who is in pain and their leg or arm hurts or what have you, and yet the joy of pain, like the marathon runner whose lungs are really hurting, but yet is still in joy because, pushing themselves or doing something that they're passionate about. Or he said compare the woman who, she associates the pain with the joy of childbirth. And, I always thought that was like he was really turning it around to look at the different, aspects of points of view of pain. And it makes me wonder now, and this is my question, how much fear is in that pain? And is the fear creating the pain to some degree in your point of view?
Well, you know what? It depends on the pain, but I do believe that fear definitely contributes to that. Not only fear, but also the programming that we have about whatever that pain is supposed to represent. And
right.
So, it's if you believe, like, okay, I'll use childbirth. Before my oldest one was born, all the stories, oh my God, labor's so horrible, I couldn't stand it. Oh my God, I was in labor for 7 days, or whatever the stories were about. And then I had to sweat and the baby wouldn't come out and it was the most excruciating thing I've ever done and blah, blah, blah. But see, all that kind of programming as well as breeds and brings about the fear that then says, oh, this is going to be a horrible experience. And so, yes, I would say that pain is about fear. Now, what I would call genuine pain is pretty much when the body says, there's something that's off here. There's something out of balance here. And so if there is, like a pain in the hip, if there's a pain in the knee or a pain in the stomach or whatever it is, physically, that a person experiences, it doesn't even have to be long, excruciating pain. Again, I believe that has more to do with the programming and belief systems, which also, the medical community can contribute to, as well as the fear that, oh my God, it's, it's as big as a house instead of it really being something that's maybe the size of a chair, And so, but the body will say, okay, here's a pain, here's discomfort, here's something that tells you there's something going on here that's out of balance. Now, in the case of childbirth, the pain that most women experience is because, the body is shifting. The bones are dislocating. There are all of these things happening, but it doesn't have to be an excruciatingly painful process. But it lets you know the body is undergoing a transformation. But based on your consciousness and your belief system, that and your fear, that will depend on to what extent it is so heightened that a woman just can't stand it or can't handle it.
Right.
When we talk about pain that is emotional pain, oftentimes I would say emotional pain or even the pain that someone has on a psychological level, I believe also is not only about fear, but it's about resistance. And that the more you're resisting whatever is happening, whatever is taking place, that may cause the emotional or psychological pain, the more intense it is. And so if once one stops resisting and really allows themselves to go into the heart of whatever I'm going to call it discomfort, because it really is just a slight discomfort versus pain, when you allow yourself to go into the center of that and let whatever the energy is
And I guess I have to apologize to everybody. This is JJ, and I'm going to reconnect everybody. There seems to have been a problem. My internet reset on me. So now I'm adding everybody back to the call. Sorry, I apologize for that. Hopefully Cynthia will call right back in, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So we were both
disconnected. For some reason my internet kicked everybody off.
Oh, okay.
I've got a whole bunch of teenagers here today visiting, friends visiting, and they all have handheld devices and stuff, and so I think the bandwidth might have gotten a little cramped. And here's Cynthia. I'm so sorry, but at any rate, I hope I didn't cause you too much stress.
What happened there?
My internet restarted.
Oh,
my modem.
Okay. Right.
You know what? We are just flowing with technology. We were talking about resistance and pain, and so we're just going to move right through it and flow with it. So thank you.
Well, yeah, it's so interesting because it's always interesting when it drops. You know what I'm saying? And what subject we're on, and I'm sort of like, perhaps the pain does not want us to expose it, so it's attacking us through the internet. Well, what's so interesting here, too, is that, because I know exactly where you were, and this has been actually going on in the Abraham community, too, and Abraham has really, is bringing it into crystal clear, because, and I'm guilty of this, meaning, over the past years, like, always stay in a high vibration, and, no, don't think about that, and, no, just think of something better. And yet there's certain things, but they're still playing in the background. And,
yes.
I've done a technique with you over the phone, and everybody, you can call Reverend Lynn, too. You can make a phone appointment with her as well as with me, if you're wanting. But you took me through this thing where there was a lot of fear around it, and you said, okay, just just experience it for a moment. It's like you don't have to waddle in it so law of attraction picks up on it, and then you create more. But, and even Abraham is saying the same thing, is that, like, just feel that sentiment, they say, for a moment, and when you took me through that process and just let me experience that for a second, it really dissipated tremendously.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and here's a question for you, because you and I have been working on a little something, as you know, and you had told me your advice, what you were getting from me, was that what I really needed, I don't know if you remember this, I think it was about a month ago, we were talking on a Sunday evening, and you said to me, Cynthia, what you really need is, and I'm laughing because I'm getting emotional, you said what you really need is a soul cry, a deep, deep, soulful cry. And so I said, okay. And so I got off the phone and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it and haven't been able to do it since. And now we bring it up now, and now I'm getting emotional, which is hysterical.
Okay, good.
How about I think maybe I'll do my soul cry just on the radio show, and I know James would love that.
There you go. Just do the soul cry, right now, right here, in front of all of your millions of friends.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so much to be.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
The soul just needs to cleanse itself from time to time, and one of the best ways for the soul to really cleanse itself, it's like the planet, kind of clearing away all the junk, is to have a good cry. Water helps everything.
Exactly, especially salt water.
Yeah, that's it. Just let the waterworks go, and let the soul do what it needs to do to purge itself. And you don't even have to know what it is. It doesn't matter. But sometimes it's just there might be something that triggers it, and so use that trigger to then go deep into your heart. In other words, feel the center of your heart. Envision the center of your heart. Then go past the heart into the soul and just let her rip.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And also, you had made, I quote you on this all the time about this energy. You had made an astute observation, and like I said, I always give you credit. I always quote you on this one. But you had said to me, and forgive me if I misquote you, that there's really kind of like two kinds of energy. There's one, unwanted energy, or, unwanted energy for us. There's one that, really what it wants is it's 15 minutes of fame. So bring it forward in a sense, put it on the stage, and you're shining the light on it, and there it is. And as the light is shining on it, it will dissipate. It'll go away. And then you said there's the other kind. Yeah, there's the other kind that does not want to be discovered. So again, put it on the stage, shine the light on it, and it will go running for the hills as well. And I've done this as a visualization exercise, I wanted to tell you, and it does help. It works.
Oh, excellent. Good, good. You know what? I think I'm going to call you as I continue to write my book right now, because you're remembering a lot of things that, that I say. But, when I'm in the middle of it, I channel so much, I don't always remember what I say about certain things. So I may call you and go, okay, Cynthia, now what did I say about this?
Absolutely. Hey, and just for fun, a lot of people, comment on my memory. And so I took that test, and I'm going to get it wrong. It's like ASAP. Mary Lou Henner is the one who sort of brought it, to the forefront. And she, with all of the scientists and physicists and medical doctors, they're rewriting the books now because this has been discovered, and she has it. And I took the test, and I have it weekly, but I have it. I'm on the bottom score, but I have it.
Oh,
and it's,
cool.
Yeah, it's not a photogenic memory, where someone can look at the page, the written page, and then, photograph it and go back and see. It's called, I'm going to get this wrong, and I should have, before I was going off talking about it. Let me see if I get this right. It's autobiographical something memory. Autobiographical.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm like, yes, you're saying it correctly. autobiographical. No, it's not photogenic. I forget. Anyway, yes. Well, I'm glad because everything you're saying, I'm like, oh yeah, I say that. I, you know, these are the things that I say and I talk about and I mention, and yet I'm writing this book, and these things just because again I channel them so much, I forget. So I will be telling you.
Please do. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Well, before also, this is on my mind as well, I want to ask, and for all the listeners, you know how all of this, like tapping stuff is getting, you know, more and more popular? Well, years ago, you also helped me. Oh, this is when Vinny died, or Vinny was going to die. Vinny, my little Chihuahua.
Yes.
Who we loved and adored so much, and he was always in the healing clinic, and I always brought him with me, and he loved it and all that stuff. And so I was just, you know how it is. And I mean, he was 22 years old when he died. So, you know what I mean? He lived a long life.
He lived a long life, yes.
Yeah, and just for all the animal lovers out there, I just want to tell you, like, Midnight, my cat, she lived to be 27 years old. Yes, you heard me right, 27 years old. Vinny lived to be 22 because one of the things I did was the supplements that I was taking that were given to me while I was, you know, curing myself of cancer and some of the other things. I was like, well, it did so well for me. I started to experiment with Midnight, my cat. I said, well, it did so well for me. I'm going to put, you know, just tiny minute, and kind of did the math of how much, like, per capsule should go into her food. And I really believe that really helped with their life extension as well. And if anybody's interested, yeah, if anyone's interested, you can contact me about those supplements because I'm still on them today. I actually, just for fun too, I just had 2 more people with those digestive enzymes that I take. Another irritable bowel syndrome has been cured just with those digestive enzymes, and chronic constipation. Yeah. They're magnificent products. But anyway, back to, okay, so I was racked with that unbelievable fear, as a lot of you know, that you know it's time for your animal to move on. And I just couldn't, you know, this might go in your book too. I don't know if you remember. I came to you and I was at your center and I was like, I can't breathe. I can't, you know, I can't anything. And you sat me down, you had me do some deep breaths. And then that's when you said, okay, now experience the fear as much as you can about losing Vinny. And like that one was easy. I started wailing. And you let me go for a while, and then you took out this paper and you gave it to me, and it was a tapping exercise. And I mean, the pain, the emotional pain was cut by 65% after doing one tapping session with you. And I wonder if you still have that. I lost it, and I loved that tapping sequence because it was a little bit different. Like at one point you're tapping your finger and you sing "Happy Birthday to Me," happy, you know. Do you remember that one?
I remember it vaguely, and I have to see if I still have it. I don't know if I do. I had heard about tapping, and I believe I slightly altered it. Again, you know, I channel everything. That's how I do my readings and everything. Yeah. I slightly altered it to what seemed to be beneficial at that time. So I will have to see if I still have it. I may not, but it doesn't mean that I can't, you know, provide something else for you that would be effective tapping exercise.
Right, because there's a lot of tapping on YouTube, and there's one big guy, and the British accent guy, and he seems as wonderful as everything, but I'm really not having results from it, and that I see. And I know that Wayne Dyer actually went through a process recently, and I don't know who he used for his tapping, but I've always said that is like no, and I've tried different tapping techniques, and I was like, nothing really works as well as Reverend Lenin's tapping sequence.
Okay, yes. Well, I will see if I can find it. You know, it was so long ago that whatever I wrote down at the time is probably on, remember the floppy disks?
Right.
Takes anymore.
Okay.
And that was probably about 2 or 3 computers ago. So,
right.
So I have to see if I've transferred any of that information. Probably not. but it doesn't mean that, you and I will talk, and you help.
You can channel a new one, a new and improved
I'll
version.
Channel a new one, yeah, and we'll just go from there.
Like maybe the old one is like an 8-track tape. Don't need it anymore.
Yes.
So we can do the new.
You know what? That's true. We can do a new and improved one. That is so true. And it's funny you should say that because, again, I ask constantly. I'm always an open channel for the universe, for the angels, spirit guides, divine source, to, always of the highest and lightest vibration, whatever deities want to channel information through me that's absolutely right for that person at that time, as well as a combination of all the different techniques and everything that I've learned, that I do, that I practice, and so forth. And so it can come out however it needs to come out, but it's usually more specific for the person in terms of what they need at that moment in time. And so I will, which is why it was probably very effective for you. And so I will meditate and channel a specific tapping sequence that you will be able to find beneficial.
Oh, fabulous. Oh, fabulous. Oh, dear. Well, as usual, I just looked at the clock. It's 2:56, and I realized that the goodbye music jumps in like a minute beforehand, so we don't quite have 4 minutes. We probably have about 3 minutes left or so. So once again, I just really wanted to get in all of your information, if you want to repeat, all of your websites and all of that business.
Okay, it's Center of Light Miracles.org. Center of Light, L-I-G-H-T, miracles.org. And go to the 30-day Creating Miracle plan. It is at the top of the home page. It's a banner that says free 30-day Creating Miracle plan. And start that plan. I just want to share really, really fast. That plan is designed over 30 days, but if you find that you need 2 days, 3 days, a week on a specific technique, feel free to do that. Don't feel like you have to rush through it in 30 days. It's a lot of information, a lot of material. Each technique every day is only about 15 minutes of your time, but you may feel overwhelmed if you're trying to keep up with it daily. Some people are able to do it. Some people need more time. So do it at your own pace. I wanted to tell people that. And I'm always available. Email me, call me, and I will assist you through the process. And I also have it set up so that we can do miracle mentoring sessions so that you can really pinpoint and get down to creating your miracle.
Awesome. Awesome. And I always forget to do this, but also if you need to contact me or want to work with me or what have you, you can contact me on Facebook now. It's J. Cynthia Brooks Official. A couple of people actually have been asking how they can donate to my charity. You just can inbox me there on Facebook until we get this website up and running. So go ahead and contact me, J. Cynthia Brooks Official on Facebook. Inbox me, and we can go. It's a simple process to donate. I also have another page, J. Cynthia Brooks House of Healing or House of Healing, J. Cynthia Brooks. It comes up either way. And also you can always contact me through Ian Jacqueline at iCureCancer.com. And I'm just laughing because I have a new nickname for him, Lady Parts, and if you listened to another show that we did last week. There's the music. Thank you so much, Reverend Lynn, for being our guest. Thank you, Jane, so much in your busy day for helping with us. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
I believe in angels, and I believe in you. I believe in the simple things and everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.